Good morning. How are you? I'm talking to you from Owl's Head, Maine, and I'm walking along, somewhat inland from the shore, and the weather is 60 degrees, and we arrived here last night in the dark of night. Homer's Odyssey was comparable to our efforts to get here on Labor Day weekend. The state's always fascinating to me, and obviously to a lot of other people given the traffic jams trying to get here. Thoreau was really taken with Katahdin, which was the tallest mountain in the state. He'd go there and he'd studied it and he climbed it. I don't think he ever reached the top, but he tried. And he used local Native American, he then called them Indian guides, to help him. And at some points, the trees toward the top were so flat that he could walk from stone over the trees to the next stone. And of course there was moose, and I've been in the park at the base, and I've seen moose tracks but no moose. Until last season, we took some pictures of moose, not there but elsewhere. Hard to find. And Thoreau, more than 100 years ago, before my birth, he studied the woods. He was fascinated by the woods in the Northwest. I personally like this right here that you see, the waters, and somehow it's more calming than the nature where I am, and I think it's because the wind and carrying the salt water smell, and I don't know, it's just different. All nature is good, in my opinion, that's been sustained and preserved and protected. Now turning to the news of the day, if you will, is, well, we've already managed to allow people to be evicted. And next up is this week, we're going to allow them to go without federal benefits. The unemployment program is run by the states, but what we're going to allow happen now is the federal benefits to stop this week. And I don't know how many people that involves. I think it's something like 10 million people. And so I expect we're stepping into still another disaster. We have to sustain the people. And this harsh manner of dealing with people is upsetting, I'm sure, to everybody who has a heart. In the category of the virus, which is a high factor in what we're dealing with in terms of evictions, jobless, and so forth, and hungry next, and kids who can't go to school, is now they've discovered a mu variant, mu being another Greek letter, something like M, but not. And if we don't adapt to the variables in the world, recognize the reality, live in this dream world, how can we hope to succeed? Beyond me. And apparently it's beyond our governing forces. They just sort of hope to storm through. And I see a lesser version of what Trump thought. The economy's okay, then we're okay. Well, it's just not the way it is. I kind of celebrated that the Cardinal McCarrick, who was a predator for youth, he got he entered a not guilty plea for 3 counts of child assault yesterday. And while we're at it and we're talking about the environment, and here you can hear the wind through the trees I was talking about, and I'm on my way to a great white lighthouse up ahead. This is a path I often take when I'm here. Louisiana, they've studied the effect of the weather in Louisiana, and they say they're concerned about how people adapt themselves, fix themselves to deal with climate grief, if you will. Well, boy, is that something. Just adjust yourself to the disaster. Don't try to do anything about it. And within the same day or so, we have a report about the ice-cold weather in Texas and how that's a function of global warming, and how the polar vortex, in this case, in the Arctic was affected by global warming, so it stretched out into the lower zones, and that increased the temperature dramatically. And these are things that, yeah, you can get used to it psychologically until you can't get used to it physically, and that's the path we're on. So we have a helping of good and bad news, and maybe that's what the news is always about. It's a projection of the things that we need to correct or address, rather than the happy things that do happen that apparently don't interest us as a people. There are more cars here. That's one downside. People have the nerve to live near the ocean. Can you believe that? So I'll be here again tomorrow, and trying to regain my sanity from the world, at the same time monitoring what's going on. So I'll try to include a couple of pictures. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.